Mark from the States, Mark from the States, it's Mark from the United States.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Mark from the States, how are we doing today? I am doing fantastic. I hope you are as well. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys are all super special, and I am blessed to have you in my life. So come sit with me on this big fake couch. Today, this was a requested video, and it's by one of my favorites, Darren, over at Adventure Me. This is Britain's first motorway, the M6 Preston bypass. I don't know really anything. I say that pretty much for every video. I don't know anything about your motorways. I don't really intend to drive on them when I come visit, but this is the first one, M6. I think I've heard of M6. I'm not sure. It's all confusing to me. So I'm going to learn something today. Maybe you'll find something interesting out of this video as well. So if you wouldn't mind, in the links below in the description is a way for you to get over to Adventure Me and Darren's channel over there, to the video and to the channel. Links will be below. So please go over there and like and do the thing. Subscribe, watch. He's got a lot of interesting stuff. I know there's a lot of you who do already watch his stuff, so I appreciate that. And yeah, Darren's a great guy. Of course, he's been just lovely to allow us to watch his videos and learn. I always get something new out of every time I watch his videos. He does some really cool, in-depth places of things that you're not going to find a lot on YouTube. Like, there might be some videos on this on YouTube, but it's not like sitting there, as a topic of everybody's desire. So you're not going to see a bunch of people doing videos on it. You know what I mean? He's shown me the tunnel, Mersey Tunnel, and the tower. Which one was that? Tower Emily. I think it was Emily Tower. And of course, he's I think he's from Bradford, I believe. And so he's shown us a lot about that city, and just a lot of cool stuff that I would never see without him, because I wouldn't even know to look for it. And so I find it very, very interesting, and he's just a great guy. So please get over there and support him. What is going on with me? I'm not sure. Well, you know what? I can't tell you. I'll hold that surprise. I got to get it okayed first. Some great news happened in my family, and I'm itching to tell you about it, but I want to make sure it's okay to blast it out onto the internet before I do something foolish. But it's just unbelievable news, and what's cool about it, there was a video that went with it. That's all I'm going to say. So hopefully in the next video or two, I'll be able to show you what I'm talking about. But yeah, really cool news. I'm super excited. So until then, I'm sorry to even bring it up, because now I'm not going to show it. So that was kind of a buzzkill, but it's really awesome. So come with me. Let's learn about the M6 Preston. Preston bypass. There we go. It's apparently Britain's first motorway. Go support Darren and his channel, and let's do it.
So we're here today to look at Britain's first motorway, which was known as the Preston bypass. But today we know it as the M6 and the M55. So if you want to know a bit more detailed history about the motorways in Britain, then Auto Shenanigans on YouTube has already done a very detailed set of videos about Britain's motorways. So go check those out. But anyway, we're going to go take a closer look now at the Preston Bypass and the history of Britain's first motorway. The Preston Bypass was designed and engineered by Lancashire County Council surveyor James Drake. It opened on the 5th of December 1958. It was intended to be the start of Britain's first north-south motorway network and to replace the very congested A6 that ran through Preston as the only north-to-south route on the west coast. It cost almost £3 million to construct and ran at just over 8¼ miles in length and included 19 bridges along its route, running around the east side of Preston between Bamber Bridge at Junction 29 of the M6 and Broughton at Junction 1 of the M55.
I am already so confused here. Yeah, he's talking as if I already have some basic understanding of Preston and everything else around there. But I'm going to try to follow along as best as I can. But a couple of those names, Bradford Bridge, I think I heard of. If I'm even saying it correctly, I don't even know. But I'm looking at this map, and it's just like, yeah. Oh, there it is. Is that it's the blue one? Duh. Okay, I was all looking for the M6. He highlighted it in blue. That's nice of him. All right.
Planning for the road began all the way back in 1937, but it was delayed until legal powers could be passed, permitting motorway construction. Just goes to show that the typical red tape nonsense from authorities existed even back then. It originally opened as a 2-lane highway and then was later extended to 3 lanes in 1966, then to 4 in 1995. The latter of which would mean reconstruction of most of the original route, including its bridges.
And the roundabout.
The original 2-lane road was constructed with an unusually wide central reservation in order to facilitate widening in the future. Its hard shoulders were made from gravel and not paved, and hedges made up the divider between the carriageways, long before a crash barrier was even needed. And it's believed that it was designed with bends on purpose to reduce the boredom when driving, and capable of handling speeds of up to 70 miles an hour.
Wow.
Which would have been unimaginable by vehicles in those days.
Heck yeah.
The 70 mile an hour speed limit wasn't introduced until 1965. Today, as part of the M6, it is one of the most congested routes in the UK, with 3 major motorways terminating along the 8-mile stretch. This is Bamber Bridge, the southernmost terminal for the Preston.
Bamber Bridge. Yes. Now, see, we've talked about this before, how I seen so many videos and so much information's come into my head, and when a name pops in or something pops into my head, it like cues up my brain going, yeah, that sounds familiar, but I cannot for the life of me remember. And then at some point it gets triggered. Bamber Bridge. We did a video about the GIs, the U.S. soldiers, and the racism that took place with the black U.S. soldiers at Bamber Bridge. That's the same place, yes? Is it? I mean, I could be totally off, but that's what the name was. It was a great video. It was shameful to watch as an American, of course, seeing that happen. But yeah, that name. See, it's if I'm assuming it's the same place. Interesting. All right.
Bypass, now Junction 29 of the M6. It was here that the A6 joined the new motorway to begin its journey around Preston. It was nothing more than a roundabout with 2 slip roads to join the new motorway. By 1965, it had been swallowed up as intended by the M6 motorway that ran from the M1 at Rugby to the Scottish borders. A bridge was built over the roundabout to continue its route south, and a further 2 slip roads built to allow traffic to continue southbound.
Well, this is it, the shape of motoring to come, the start of a scheme which will intersect Britain with a road system second to none. They're designed for high speed and safety and to minimize the chance of accidents. The Preston Bypass is a small beginning, but it is a beginning, and as the first of the motorways, it deserves priority attention.
So we're now at the section of the motorway
Tickled Trout.
known as the Tickled Trout.
Oh my gosh.
And this is where the A59 meets what was the Preston bypass, but it's today the M6 behind me. Now this section has been remodeled many times, especially in the 90s when they did the road widening scheme to widen it to 4 lanes in both directions. What we're going to do now is go and find a memorial for the opening of the Preston bypass. It is in this area. This is where the official opening ceremony took place all those years ago on Britain's first motorway.
Before we continue on to that, one, I just love how it's the road widening scheme. It makes it sound so devious and secretive, you know. But no, my real question is, you see the signs that say A59 or whatever, and then M, whatever number, we'll just say M6. What's the difference? What are the designations for A and M? M, I was just assuming meant motorway, but what is the classifications there with the lettering?
So just tucked away underneath the main roundabout of the junction here. So right in front of us there is the motorway bridge. Like I said, now 8 lanes wide across. This is a more modern affair built in the 1990s to carry the new motorway. If we look down here, we've got a plaque. So this one was laid here to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Preston bypass, the first motorway in the UK. This was put in here in 2008, and it's dedicated to Sir
day
James
before my
Drake,
birthday.
CBE, a chartered civil engineer. But now we're going to go find the original plaque of when they opened this motorway, which has been recited quite a few times over the years, but it's directly opposite the new one here. And it's located just outside the main police motorway unit, which is right there, the headquarters. And here it is, the original plaque from the opening of the Preston bypass. So as you can see, the Preston bypass, Britain's first motorway, opened the 5th of December 1958 by the Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Harold Macmillan MP. Like I said, this is the original plaque, and it has been moved a few times. I believe it was sited somewhere close by here, but not directly here. But it still survives today, so if you want to come and take a look at it, you can do. You can easily get to it. But also down here is another one. So there's 3 plaques in this area. This one is to commemorate the opening of the brand new extension, or when they widened the M6 in the 90s. Now, it is really difficult to read that, but it basically says it was unveiled in October 1995 by John Watts.
I don't see anything.
And it's to mark the completion of the M6 Preston bypass. So, of course, that's what we know it as today, as the M6. But it is an amalgamation of the M6 and the M55 on what was the original Preston bypass motorway. So let's head a bit further up the motorway now and towards the end, and we're going to find the original section that still remains today. Up behind me is the very end of the Preston bypass, or the very start, depending on which way you're going. But this section behind me is the only remaining original section of Britain's first motorway. What you see on this bridge behind me now is the M55 heading towards Blackpool. But this roundabout, which is the A6, is where the Preston bypass would have terminated on its north side. So you had 2 slip roads heading down to this very roundabout here. And as you can see today, it now continues across on this bridge and towards Blackpool. And the reason I say the only remaining original section is because the M6 has been reconfigured and redone so many times, widened and new bridges, etc., that this section, which is now the end of the M55, is the only remaining section that is in its original position and that's still left today. So that short stretch of motorway there was Britain's first motorway. Let's take a quick trip along today's Preston bypass, or the M6, starting at Junction 1 of the M55. thank you very much for joining us on this beautifully
Interesting.
sunny day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.
All right, you go over there, support him. I love it. I love this video, even though I was a little lost and I have some questions. But get over there and support Darren. And I'll look forward to a lot of stuff that helps me give the video a little more context, because I'm clueless, because I'm a foreigner. To add on to the questions earlier, what's the designation with the lettering beforehand, M and A and all that stuff. Like, for instance, here in the States, our freeways are numbered a certain way. And there's some nuance to it, but the basics is if it's odd, 135, 101, so on and so forth. And they're just numbers. We don't tend to, they have names, Hollywood Freeway, Ventura Freeway. We do have all those, but people just refer to them by the number. And if it's an odd number, it's going north to south or south to north. Okay. If it's an even number, east to west, west east. So you could kind of always know what direction you're kind of going, or eventually will be going, based on the freeway number. And then there's some sort of nuances that if it's if it splinters, if there's a section of highway that splinters off of one, the last number of it tells you that it came from the freeway, and then if there's a certain number at the end of it, it will rejoin it. Yeah, there's some information there that I can't remember, but yeah. So I'm curious about your numbering system and the designation of A and M, and if there's any others. The second question I had is, why here? Why Preston? Instantly I would have thought, okay, the first motorway would have been, I would have just guessed, London, like leaving London. Maybe I don't know exactly where this is located. Maybe that's a foolish question to ask, but thinking that would be the most, you understand what I'm saying? I'm not really quite sure. So, yeah, I'm just curious why in this location. I don't recall Darren really talking about it, but maybe he did, and I just totally missed it. And so, if that's the case, you can all just kind of let me know that I missed it. But, yeah, interesting, though. It's funny how I remember learning about our highway and freeway systems, and Eisenhower, President Eisenhower really was the, force behind that to nationalize the highways and freeways. And it's basically what we have today. That it's pretty remarkable when you start doing all that stuff, how allows people to move around a little more freely. It's kind of like the modern railroad in a sense, but times 10. Interesting. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I did. That's the thing. I always get something from every video because it's all new to me. So, yeah, interesting. All right, everyone. Hope everybody's happy, healthy, and safe. We will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.
Mark from the States, Mark from the States, it's Mark. Yeah.